Tonight, big ticket at the Scandinavium, big ice in Gothenburg. Time to connect in the World Championship dance. America's 10th Belbin and Agosto. The Olympic silver medalists. A triumvirate of Canadian dance teams. Caitlin Weaver and Andrew Poje. Second trip to the Worlds. Alihan McCurdy, Coreno. Rookies in the big show. And temperatures rising. Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir ready to assault the podium in Sweden. All kinds of hope for 18-year-old Tessa Virtue and 20-year-old Scott Moir of London and Ilderton, Ontario, respectively. They are the Canadian Ice Dance Champions, the 2006 World Junior Ice Dance Champions. They won the Canadian Championship in Vancouver, BC this year, their first national championship. Welcome back to our coverage of the 2008 Worlds from Gothenburg, Sweden. Scott Russell along with Tracy Wilson again. Tonight, Tracy, we begin to tell the story of the dance competition, the first of three parts, and we begin to tell the inspiring story of Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir. And maybe at these World Championships, the door is open.
Yes, the door is open, and not just open ajar, because the top-ranked Russian team is out due to an injury. So the favorites in this competition, I think you have to say, are Belbin and Agosto of the United States, Olympic silver medalists. But what we must remember is, this year in competition, Virtue and Moir have had the highest scores in the original dance and the free dance of any other teams in this event.
That said, the first hurdle comes tonight, the compulsory dance, and this is key for Virtue and Moir.
Well, it is, because this is their weakness, and what happens is the other teams get a lead on them in the compulsory dance, and then Tessa and Scott can't catch up in the free dance and the original dance. So it's key for Tessa and Scott to stay close to the competition in the compulsory dance so they can overtake them in the end.
Three Canadian dance teams at the World Championships in Gothenburg. Taking a look at the first tonight, Caitlin Weaver, 18 years old, and Andrew Poje, 21. She was born in Houston, Texas. He in Kitchener. They train in Waterloo with former world champion Shailene Bourne.
For the compulsory dance this year, the skaters will be executing the Argentine tango. So if you remember the single skaters back in the 80s and before that, they used to compete in the school figures. And that was basically a study of the edges and the turns of figure skating. The compulsory dance, study of the edges and turns in ice dance. All the skaters do the same steps to the same music. Look how close they are together while they're curving deep edges on the ice. This, the twizzle section, important feature of the dance. So technically, while every step and every edge has to be precise, it must also be in the character of the dance. And it's combining the two that is so important, and that's what separates the men from the boys. Very difficult to tell the differences between the skaters and what makes one better than the other. Well, some of the things that the judges are looking for would be the space between the two skaters. So you can see a little bit of space there between the hips, and then they get close together. This is a very new team. Started last year, and then in their first year, they went to Junior Worlds and finished third. And for new teams, the hardest part usually is the compulsory dance because it's so hard to get in sync.
Also stepped up and went to the Senior World Championships in Tokyo, where they finished 20th. Caitlin Weaver and Andrew Poje of Canada will return to Gothenburg and the 2008 World Figure Skating Championships on CBC Sports. Stay with us. Caitlin Weaver and Andrew Poje of Canada after the compulsory dance here in the Scandinavium.
And you could see them with their coach Shailene Bourne in the kiss and cry with them. Look at their nice, deep knee bends, and that's a very important part of this dance, that the skaters get really low to the ice on their skating leg, and then their free leg that's in the air, you've got to really reach with it, and it helps to guide you, almost like a rudder of a boat. But you can see there's quite a bit of a space between their hips. And that's something that they have to work on there and get closer together. With the top teams, they skate as one and are glued together through that area of the dance. I thought their expression was good. They're a very attractive team, well matched. They just have to get a bit closer together. Watch here, this is going into the cross roll section. You can see Shaylin and their other coach, Matthew Gates, they're kind of doing it with them.
Anyway, you look at it, Tracy, tremendous depth in the Canadian ice dance program, and it goes well beyond Dubreuil and Lausanne, who are taking this year off, perhaps getting ready for a shot at the Olympic Games in 2010. But this is one of the young ice dance teams that is succeeding for Canada on the world stage. And Canada has 3 at the World Championships in Gothenburg. Technical elements, 15 for Caitlin Weaver and Andrew Poje. The presentation score, a 12.74, and so their total will be 27.74. Again, we're looking at a season's best for Weaver and Poje. 27.74 for the silver medalists at the Canadian Championships in the compulsory dance here at the Scandinavian. And their current rank is 1, still very early in the going in the compulsory dance. Good crowd here in Gothenburg. Great fans of sport in this city. And next they get to watch Kenneth Belbin and Belbin and Agosto of the United States, 5 times the U.S. champions.
Well, this is the team that is a favorite coming in here. Olympic silver medalists, long, strong lines. So far, they've got a lot of flow in this dance, and it's important that they keep the flow right through both patterns. Good, strong edges. And the faster skaters will have to weave more. They'll cover more ice to fit the pattern in, and that's what the judges are looking for. This is the repeat of the dance right here, and watch how they cross over and get on a strong outside edge and then flipping back over. The stronger the edge, the harder it is to control.
You mentioned, Tracy, they were the Olympic silver medalists. She is born in Kingston, Ontario, and got her U.S. citizenship just in time to compete at those Olympic Games. And there is huge trouble.
This is something that you just don't see in this portion of the competition, a fall in the compulsory dance. He got out of position and tried to push through. Tanith went down, and it's going to be very costly, needless to say.
All of a sudden, the favorites are forced into coming from behind. CBC's coverage of the 2008 World Figure Skating Championships will continue. Welcome back to our World Figure Skating Championship coverage from Gothenburg, Sweden. Despite the smiles, big trouble for Tanith Belbin and Ben Agosto of the United States.
Well, like them, I'm in shock. It just doesn't happen, Scott. I mean, the years and years I practice the compulsory dances, you just don't fall. And part of that is because you're in each other's arms. So if one person stumbles, the other person holds them up. Here's a look at some of their deep edges at the beginning, and you could see how they work their free leg to help grind out deeper edges. Nice, strong free legs there. They had a little bit of a tension in their holds, which is good for the tango, but maybe showed that they were struggling a bit. Let's see here. The progressives into the cross roll. This is the end of the dance that leads into the twizzle where Tanith came down. Right here, they're close. No, she just gets twists inside. And again, unbelievable to me to see her go down there. Coach Marina Zueva, I mean, so costly, they could lose a world title over a twizzle, and that probably is what will happen.
Almost leaves you speechless. They are certainly not expected to do that. Twice bronze medalists at the last 2 world championships. And there are the results of that compulsory dance. There's the deduction of 1. 35.02 is their compulsory dance score, below their season's best. And Belbin and Agosto, as I say, will have to come from behind. Even though they currently rank first, there are other dance teams in the field that will be better than that in the compulsory dance. This is one team that has the potential to do that. The French national champions, Isabelle Delabelle and Olivier Schoenfelder.
Well, they have been competing at the world level since 1998, immensely popular, having fun with the compulsory dance here. And this is the best portion of the competition for them. Almost always they finish top in the compulsory dance. They have so thus far this season. What makes a difference between first and fourth? Well, the team that can weave the deep edges, have the flow across the ice, but make it look smooth and easy. That's what these two are doing right now.
Yes, all those years and hungry for a podium performance. They were 4th at the last World Championships in 2007, trying to get into the medals.
Oh, and they have such speed and control in the opening lobes of the second pattern. Look at the edge work there at the deep and go right backwards, retrogressing, so they have room in the corner. Here comes the twizzle that Tanith missed. The other important aspect to the dance is the rise and fall of the skating knee. When that knee keeps fluid, so does the dance.
Well, there they are, the European champions in 2007, Delabelle and Schoenfelder. The compulsory dance on CBC Sports will continue from Gothenburg, Sweden, in just a moment. Welcome back, the 5-time French dance champions, the 2007 European champions, Delabelle and Schoenfelder.
They've been to Worlds so many times, but they have not finished higher than 4th. They often make mistakes in the original dance or the free dance because they have such a freewheeling style. Looking closely at the blades here, you can see how they switch from the inside edge, turning, crossing, weaving. Look at how close the side of the boot gets to the ice. Really carving out nice deep edges. You can see the use of their skating knee here as they keep the up-down rhythm, and that allows them to keep getting the speed. Nice and close there on that deep outside edge. Now watch into the back cross roll section. That was a very good dance for them. Played to all their strengths.
Indeed, their 11th appearance at the World Championships. Dela, Belen, Schoenfelder. Technical elements, 2079, 1994 on the presentation score. And that gives them a compulsory dance score of 40.73. So that will vault Dela and Schoenfelder into first spot here at the Scandinavium in Gothenburg. And as is per usual for them, they have excelled in the compulsory dance. And acknowledge the crowd here, the appreciative crowd at the Scandinavium. Back out onto the ice now. And the next dance team, another Canadian dance team, McCurdy and Michael Coreno. They train in Vancouver. You know, you saw Weaver Poje earlier, who trained with Shaylin Bourne, the former world champion. They train with Victor Kratz.
The opening bars and the closing bars of the dance are unique to each skater. They are allowed to use any creativity and choreography to establish a character off the top, but you can see now they go into the set pattern of the dance.
Big moment for them, their first trip to the World Championships.
Another place where the skaters can vary a little bit is in the dance holds. You could see they drop their arms there. They can also work their free legs. The leg that's in the air, they can add variations there, but the blade on the ice has to be precise, and it's every skater's doing the exact same step. They're dancing this well. It does not have the flow and the power of the top teams, but very clean and precise and well-skated dance for these two.
...2006 Canadian Junior Champions, McCurdy, Michael Coreno. There is Victor Kratz, their coach, standing on the sidelines and watching his pupils compete. Canadian and former World Junior Champions Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir are on their way. They skate next in... And in the kiss and cry, McCurdy and Michael Coreno of Canada.
I like the lightness they had to this dance. It was a good, solid performance. The second pattern as fast as the first. Here's a look at the opening lobes. The edges not quite as deep as the top teams. You can see they're just a little bit up in their knee in places. Very strong edge work there. You can see deep edges, strong free leg unison. You know, the differences are so subtle. And a little bit of space there in between the hips.
They train in Vancouver, and this is their first appearance at the World Championship. Raring to go, technical elements, 15.51, presentation score, 12.82. And that will be beyond their season's best. It is a 28.33 for McCurdy and Michael Coreno of Canada in the compulsory dance. Again, tremendous potential for Canada in the ice dance. And McCurdy, Michael Coreno, a part of that. Good Canadian contingent here in the Scandinavium in Gothenburg, and one of the stories they'll be following throughout is that of Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir. She's 18, he's 20. She's from London, Ontario, and he's from the community of Ilderton, 1,200 people. And it seems they all are figure skaters.
Are they ever pushing this dance in so many facets? Look at the deep edge work there. They're also really moving their bodies to try and accentuate their edge work. Their training mates, Belbin and Agosto, had the major error coming up in this section here. Such a fine line, pushing the dance, getting the most out of it without going overboard. This was well done.
They were an amazing 6th at their first World Championships in Tokyo last year. And at the outset, Tracy, we said this was the hurdle they had to overcome, was the compulsory dance, if they wanted to vault into position where they could score a podium finish.
Well, they can be a little conservative emotionally sometimes, but not in this performance. In fact, I was watching them thinking, careful, careful, don't push it too hard. All out expression. Watch the edge work. Look at how close his boot is to the ice. And you can see the blade really carving there. Very nice, neat cross behind. Look at how close they are together. Their free leg extension, the unison very strong. And see how they're tilting forward there, trying to make the most of the line. Creating one line from their body right through to the free leg. Not only does that look good, but it's actually very difficult to control, because the more you lean one way, the more you have to compensate to go the other way. So it takes tremendous control between the two of them.
Well, they are on a roll this season. They won at Skate Canada. They're the new national champions, and they won at 4 continents in Korea. Technical elements, an even 20 for Virtue and Moir. Presentation score, 1871. It exceeds their season's best and creates a launching pad from which they can assault a podium finish here in Gothenburg in Sweden. A new season's best for Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir of Canada. And that puts them into 2nd place behind Dela and Schoenfelder of France. There's their ranking, 2nd with a score of 38.71 in the compulsory dance.
And it keeps them only a couple of points behind Dela and Schoenfelder, which is where they needed to be. They're used to being 4 or 5 points behind that French team.
Isabelle Delabelle, Olivier Schoenfelder of France lead. Virtue and Moir of Canada are next. The gap is 2 points only. Kukolova and Novitsky of Russia are 3rd. The other Canadians well back. Here's Brenda Irving.
Well, Tessa and Scott knew that to be on the podium, they'd probably have to increase their compulsory score. And I know you guys worked long and hard to do that. And how does it feel for all of that hard work to pay off?
It's great. We did certainly train very hard with the compulsory dance, and Marina and Igor have us really well prepared. So we are confident going in today, and we're really pleased with how we skated.
Now, the original dance is next. That has been your highest scoring segment this season. What do you have to do on Thursday night to try to grow that score?
Well, I think we just need to go for it. We're really just going to go and skate our best and just give it all we have. So it's the last time of the year, so we're really looking to enjoy it and really work off each other and feed off the crowd.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir positioning themselves very nicely heading into Thursday's original dance.
Thank you, Brenda. The constant contenders, the French, Dela and Schoenfelder, have the lead after the compulsory dance. But Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir have had a great start.